Hello, Play It members and interested people. I am here with Piano Man Steve. I'm very excited to introduce you to Steve. I was introduced to Steve via one of my clients. He sent me an email. I can't remember who it was. Somebody sent me an email and said, you must link up with Piano Man Steve. He has got exactly the same approach to music as you do. So I immediately reached out to Steve and I said, hey, I'm interested. I've had a look at your videos. I love your approach to learning the piano. Can we meet online? So that's what we did. And I would like to introduce you to Steve. What's your surname, Steve? Or is it not important?
My surname is Stephen Lundgren.
Lundgren. Okay.
Lung like you breathe, grin like you smile. 1G.
The surname's not important. What you have to remember is your nom de plume, which is Piano Man Steve. Am I right?
Yes. I have. I got obsessed with that Billy Joel song when I was 12, and I started sort of using it as a quasi stage name. It's been following me for over 30 years now.
Can you tell me a little bit, where are you from and how did you get started with Piano Man Steve? How did you get started with your whole online piano program?
I'm originally from a small town in western Nebraska, which is right in the middle of the United States. And I basically I discovered Billy Joel and shortly after that Elton John when I was about 12 years old. And something about it really called me to this instrument. And it was kind of a long and winding road to learn how to hack the system. And I didn't know what they were doing that was different from what I was being taught in regular piano lessons, but I knew there was something that was not the same because
Not the same as sheet
there,
music and
oh
reading the
my goodness,
dots.
there was nothing about what I was hearing, not just from their music, but I noticed all the music that I loved, it didn't compute to just grab sheet music and play. It didn't sound like what I was hearing, and I didn't know what the missing factor was. And
Okay.
just by a lucky happenstance, my family moved to a new town, and my mom found me a new piano teacher, just luck of the draw, who taught me chord symbols, which,
Okay.
of course, guitar players are very familiar with.
That's
It's
how
one
we
of the
all
main things.
start. Yeah.
That's mostly what you do, and but they very rarely do anything with that on piano.
You're right.
And the part that was intuitive for me, though, that was still missing, even for people that were being taught chord symbols on piano, was people had no idea what to do with them once they the thing with guitar was that I noticed that my guitar playing friends intuitively had certain kinds of strum patterns that they would do
A rhythm.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, and a rhythm pattern of sorts, and that every song sort of fit into, one of these kind of basic strumming patterns, and then there would be little nuances that you could implement from there, but there was a basic structure that would
Okay.
work. And over the course of time, I developed the same thing intuitively for the piano. And then you fast forward to about 2011, and I thought maybe there's some value in showing these things to people. And
Wow.
YouTube was really starting to get big, so I just started making videos, and at the time I had no idea what to do. So I was just making random videos of teaching an idea that I'd picked up and throwing it against the wall to see if it would stick. But a couple of years later, I had enough videos. I looked and I went, my God, there's actually a system here. So I
Wow.
reworked it and I turned it into a course. So now I've got a whole piano course that the the basis of is chord symbols, rhythm
Okay.
patterns, and
Mm-hmm.
improvisation techniques, simple
Wow.
ones.
Oh, it
And
is music to my ears.
that's the system that Billy Joel and Elton John were hacking, and that I learned how to be like them through playing that. And that's been the work of my life ever since. So I do
And
this, and then I play gigs, and that's it.
I think a lot of people would like to be in that situation. That sounds fantastic. I do play the keyboard very badly. I'm also, a bit of a hacker on the guitar, but I am determined. I am determined this year to go through the program and see if I can improve that I can learn to play the keyboard properly after all these years. I bought a keyboard many, many years ago, and I'm so glad that I've never thrown it away. I've still got it, and I still occasionally play it. And I can't wait to get stuck into your course so that I can learn to play it in the same way as I play the guitar and be able to sing along. Really, that's what I love to do. And so you've developed a course, and I know, I when I watched your video, what really got into my head was that you've got like 5 or 6 different rhythm patterns, and everything comes from those rhythm patterns. So you've got the chords, and you've got the basic triads, and then you've got rhythm patterns. And if you know that, and you can figure that out by listening to a song,
right?
Then and if you can get the left hand and the right hand to do different things at the same time. That's what I battle with.
Certainly hand coordination is part of it, but that's one of the beauties of using rhythm patterns, is that what I've found is that because people always ask me this question, they say, is your course for beginners or is it for more advanced players? And I always say that's the wrong question, because it's for people that are looking for this method of playing, because you can do this method of playing at a novice level and you can do it at an experienced level. And what my course is, I have 2 elements to it. There's a crash course, which I think everyone should go through, that teaches you how to use this style of play in its most basic and essential elements. And then there's the deep dive, which is then a big encyclopedia of content where you can expand upon those ideas. But when you get through the crash course, you understand how to take basic chords, plug them into a rhythm pattern that works for the song, and how to use those chords as the basis for simple improvisation techniques to fill space and such. And just to give you a very, very quick idea of what we're talking about. So let's take what I call the ice cream changes. C, then A minor, then F, then G, and back to C. You see
the
that
ice cream
over
chords.
and over. Yeah, you
the
see it all
chords.
over in music. Those 4, that, and you can do it at any key, that sequence.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a traditional rock or pop song, I discovered that if you can take your left hand and go dum, 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 and then just play quarter notes in your right hand.
Right. So not even the melody in your right hand.
What's that?
Not even the melody in your right hand, just quarter notes.
No, I mean, and you can eventually put the melody into this situation, but I always encourage people to learn it in an accompaniment manner first.
Okay.
And then you can drop the melody in last, but people kind of go for that melody too early. And then what they end up with is an empty song with no pace and no rhythmic integrity to it.
Yeah.
And so
I think that they get stuck on the melody because they're focusing so much on the melody and they can't get the other hand to play the bass, any sort of a bass, and they go, oh, this is too hard.
Right. And the problem is they don't know what to do with their left hand. And what this does is not only does it work well when you're playing along with a group, but if you don't have a group with you, this approximates the feel of a group.
Right.
And you can do that with any chord progression. And so there are 4 essential rhythm patterns that I teach. We teach all of the basic major, minor chords, etc. And then, of course, in the deep dive, we go into all the crazy chords that are out there. But those aren't important. What I want people to understand is you meet this at the level that you're at, and you can start having fun now with it.
Straight away.
You don't have to, because that's the biggest problem I always had with written music. Not only does it not recreate the music I was most inspired by very well, but you really have to put in a lot of years of work to get good at that, even if that's going to be your method. And you can be making some pretty impressive and satisfying noise pretty darn quickly
Pretty
with this
quickly.
method.
Yeah, and I've been trying to use Musician recently, and it's got the bouncing dots. I don't know if you know Musician, but the one comment on the community was, I've been doing this for ages, and I quite fine when I'm following the bouncing dot on the screen, but put me at a campfire with my friends, and I can't play a single thing. So that's what this is all about, and just while you're playing that rhythm, you can play along with those play along videos of mine using Steve's technique with the rhythm on the left hand and the quarter notes on the rhythm pattern on your left hand and the quarter notes on your right hand. Immediately you can pick a song once you know 3 chords, A, D, and E. You can pick a song and you can play along with it on your keyboard using Steve's rhythm techniques.
I love your videos for that. And I encourage my students to use those videos as an aid for practical application and just for fun.
Just for fun.
I've been saying this for a long time. Just because this is my profession, that's not what most people are going to do with their life. But all of us that get into it for one reason, because we think that we're going to feel good when we do it. And you should, because this is such a wonderful thing to be able to do, even as a hobby. So
for the rest of your life. But for the rest of your life, you might not be able to ski down a slope for the rest of your life, but you'll always be able to play the piano or the guitar. And just a note for people that do play along to my videos using the piano. Obviously, if you've got an acoustic piano, you're going to have to look for the videos with no capo. But if you've got a keyboard or an electronic piano, all you do is you press the transpose button. So if I've got the capo on one, you just press the transpose button once, and you'll be able to play along with the chords on the play along videos that I've got. So it's easy.
No shame in using the transposition function.
No, we love the transpose button.
I have actually filmed 2 videos on YouTube over the last decade, encouraging people to do that and helping them get over their shame that somehow they're musically cheating. It's ridiculous.
No, it's the same as using a capo on a guitar. Some people might turn up their nose and say, "Oh, I don't need to use a capo," and I always go, "Well, why?" My life is too short to not use a capo.
Yeah, and also, not for nothing, guys, but this about guitar. You can do bar chords all you want, but if there's a particular sound you're looking for that requires open string tuning, you have to use a capo in order to get it. If you need to play it in F, but it needs to be played in E.
That's right. It sounds better.
It's a silly thing. Guitar players learned this lesson a long time ago. Piano players still sometimes are a little hoity-toity about it, but I've been trying to get people to use the transposer for a long time. Why on earth would you choose to play in D flat when you can play in C?
I have no idea. Well, thank you, Steve. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I am going to be posting this video on my YouTube channel, and there's going to be a link to Steve's courses. He's got, how many courses have you got, Steve?
Well, actually, they're all kind of wrapped up into one situation, but I have 2 courses that are part of the package. Everyone should start with the crash course, which is part of it. And then once you know what's in the crash course, then if you care to, you can expand your knowledge by looking into all the deep dive content.
Okay. But when you pay for both, do you? When you pay for your course, you get both levels.
Correct.
Okay, that's fantastic. So there's going to be a link here. It is going to be an affiliate link and in complete open disclosure. And hopefully Steve and I are going to be able to get a few of you going on the piano. I do have quite a lot of piano playing people on my database already. They're not only guitarists, but I'm sure a lot of guitarists like me, campfire guitarists, also want to learn to play the keyboard or the piano. So thank you very much.
A good portion of my students are guitar players who are trying to add keyboard into their experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. And we hope to see you soon. I'll see you in your course, definitely.
Okay. I look forward to it. Thanks for having me, Joanne.